Things to do in Emilia Romagna. 5 must-visit places and experiences. You don't just travel to Italy. You get consumed by Italy. The word stumbled out of my mouth as I tried to explain why it was one of my favorite countries. The people, the passion, the food, oh boy, the food, the views, the attitude. There is something about the lifestyle here that transports you. And in this region, it's all combined. Emilia Romagna offers up a fantastic mix of culinary, architecture and art-based treats wrapped up in one. I spent a week exploring this new-to-me region, and from the seaside towns to the hills of olive trees, I still don't feel like I've genuinely scratched the surface. So I happily booked a second return visit for a few months later. Grab a car, grab some mates, and take a road trip through this region of northern Italy. When it comes to exploring Italy, I think road trips are the winner. While you could take day trips from Bologna by public transport easily enough to discover some of the true hidden gems of Europe and the little villages of this Italian region, 4 wheels, or go all out with a Vespa are a winner. Here are some of my top things to do in Emilia Romagna, all of which are possible day trips from Bologna. Number 5. Bologna, the capital city of Emilia Romagna. Bologna is enjoying a moment on the center stage, often overlooked for the likes of Venice, Rome and Milan. This city is seriously a star, with the most extensive collection of porticos in the world, the covered arch walkways, imposing towers littering the city, a hilltop monastery and countless restaurants, bars and markets serving up delicious treats around the clock. This is one epic city break. The architecture throughout the city is outstanding. The cheap pizza slices from the hole-in-the-wall restaurants delicious, and the overall vibe is one of love and excitement. It's damn romantic here, but it's also a buzzing university city, the oldest in Europe in fact, and that gives it a real mix of cultural and modern experiences. Number 4. Po Delta Nature Park. The Po Delta Nature Park sits across both Emilia Romagna and Veneto, and I stayed at the Spiaggia Romea Club Village on the Emilia Romagna side. This large resort, with pools, water sports, horse riding and a range of accommodation, is set in a beautiful area that has been preserved by the current owners, earmarked initially to be property development. The land was all bought, and the resort takes up just a fraction, leaving the rest of the area to nature and wildlife to blossom. An electric golf cart can take you on a mini safari through this part of the park. But the real magic lies in the lagoons and salt works of the park just outside Comacchio town. Whether you opt to cycle, take a boat, or both, the views are made that more special by the flamingos that can be found on the lake. Although a migration spot, there are now permanent flocks of flamingos who have set up their home here. Other options in the Po Delta National Park include heading to the Sacca di Goro by the border of the region to see traditional clam fishing with the Rasca, although this is quite a detour, so not ideal if you are short on time, or relaxing in one of the spa and wellness facilities. Number 3. Comacchio. It took me a few visits to Emilia Romagna before I finally made it to Comacchio, but it was certainly worth the wait. Comacchio isn't the most accessible place to get to in Emilia Romagna, as it does not have a train station, but whether you hire a car or make it here by bus, it's well worth taking a detour for. Often billed as Little Venice due to it being close to the Veneto border, complete with canals and relatively devoid of tourists. It's an ideal base to explore the local nature from, and also soak up the quaint canals. A relatively small commune, the main town itself is everything you would expect. Still canals reflecting colorful buildings, streets lined with excellent restaurants and bars, and the joy of not being too crowded by tourists. It's well worth hiring a bike to explore the local area and the Po Delta, after you've enjoyed a couple of chilled days, and sampled the local fish specialty, eel and clams. Number 2. Cesenatico. Cesenatico was one of those places where I just pointed at a map and went with no real research. It's one of my best skills in life. I had wanted to visit the charming canals of Comacchio, which had been touted as a Venice without the people, but time was not on my side. Luckily, quaint Cesenatico was an ideal day trip from Bologna. Sure, it has a beach on the Adriatic, But I always recommend Albania or the Algarve for Europe beach holidays, as I find the Italian beaches crowded with deck chairs. The town itself, though, was adorable, with colorful houses lining the few small canals, a maritime museum with boats displayed on the canal, and plenty of little restaurants. The slow pace of Italian life is ripe for the taking here. Number 1. Brisaiola. When you think of Italy from the movies, you know the ones: hair flying in convertible cars, verdant green hills of vines, castles towering above little red roof towns. You're essentially thinking of Brisaiola. This too cute to believe town was my first day trip in Emilia Romagna, and it stayed my favorite. The picturesque streets with little cafes and gelato shops sit under the three hills of the town. One clock tower, one castle, and one church. You can enjoy a casual stroll between the three and visit them before noshing down on all the gelato below. We saw one little tourist group there, but other than that, on a blissfully sunny June day, it was devoid of tourists. Be sure to check out the surroundings, including the old quarry caves, which now host live music performances underground, the excavation site of the old castle, which offers terrific panoramic views, and head to the mountains for some fantastic fresh food and fresh air at the Parco Carn Visitor Center. Subscribe to our channel for more similar videos.